Okay, this is orientation for Pedagogical Techniques 2. Now, we talked about some in the last video, but I want to talk about some in this video that are very, very important, and what we teach the students, the study techniques we teach the students. Now, it's important that they understand how to use a textbook. And so the SQ3R method is absolutely essential in that and helps them to understand how to use a textbook. We also do what we call the Beehive Brain Box learning system. And this is absolutely essential. No student passes a grade or a class without doing this, because we feel that it is that essential to their education and they need to understand it. In fact, it was kind of fun. We were listening to a talk by Elder Bednar, and he was talking about a friend of his who had used this system. Of course, it wasn't named that, but it was used this system to study for a very important test in his life. And we kind of smiled and we said, yes, we know it works. I want to tell you a little bit story about the Beehive Brain Box learning system. We had a student who was in and out of the school. Her parents just couldn't keep her in the school all the time, and she had a learning disability supposedly because she learned opposite that most people learn. She learned in a different way. And so we had worked with her. We taught her the Beehive Brain Box learning system. But we also knew that she just didn't do well academically, and that it was a very hard struggle for her, even using the system, which she really didn't do much of the time. So one day she burst into the school and she said, I did it, I passed my driver's license. And not thinking about what I was saying, I said, how? Because the student was that taxed with not being able to do a lot of her scholastic work. And she says, oh, I put the entire driver's manual on the cards in the Beehive Brain Box learning system, and I passed. I only missed 2 questions. Well, if someone who has a problem like that we might call a little challenging, can do something like that with the Beehive Brain Box learning system, we definitely, this is not negotiable. They do it. Sometimes parents don't want to buy stock in the card companies. I'm kind of joking, because they feel like there's so many cards that come through in the years and in the subjects. Well, we try and keep it down as much as possible, but the Beehive Brain Box learning system is essential. And that's how so many kids have gotten on the honor roll in the past. If they don't do it, they really do have a problem, because it is so good. It is a way to initially learn the facts and then review the facts and then keep them in long-term memory for years. And so we really want, usually in an educational situation, you're going to review the previous year's work for about the first quarter of the year. We don't do that. We don't have to do that because of this Beehive Brain Box learning system, and it allows us then to for our students to get done quicker, to have a better education, and they retain more and so forth. It just has so many benefits. So the Beehive Brain Box learning system is essential, and we are very insistent that our students do that. Now, there's other things that we do also. The brain gym, obviously, encouraging our students to have some physical activity. The times that they study, how long should they study at a time? Well, it kind of seems like 20 minutes is a good thing, and then they get up and move around, and maybe if you have a mini tramp, they jump on the mini tramp, or maybe they go out and jump rope, or they walk around the block, or whatever. But they get some exercise, and exercise is important too, which leads us into another facet: your brain. Now, I have had kids come to me who have eaten sugar for breakfast, okay, and they just don't do well because sugar will hold up the brain, especially high fructose corn syrup or corn syrup, period, will shut down the brain. So that's another tip, health. And we teach a lot of these health tips to our students in the science classes at the beginning of the year. And we repeat so that maybe we have all returning students, maybe not, it just depends. But these health tips, particularly on brain health and how to be able to perform scholastically at the top of your game. Don't eat sugar. Don't have high fructose corn syrup. That's the best thing. The second thing, yes, I can count, is to get enough sleep at the proper time. I wish I had it here. Doctrine and Covenants 88, I think it's verse 124, talks about sleep. The Lord says, go to thy bed early, okay, and get up early, and that your mind and body may be invigorated. Oh my goodness. You know, when we first had the school, parents would ask me, how do you get so much done? Well, unknowingly, I was following that. I was getting up at 3 o'clock and preparing lessons, and I could get 11 lessons prepared before I had to be at school at 7. And hey, it was okay. If you go to bed early, that you won't be tired, and you get up early so your mind and body can be invigorated, hey, that is a big, big, big thing. And you will be surprised if they get the sleep that they need when they need it. Now, there's certain things you can do to help them. And I'm just going to mention a couple things because we had a mother bring her young boy to me, and he couldn't sleep. And consequently, he wasn't doing well in school. And so I tested him, and I did everything I knew how to do. And he seemed to be rather normal. And then I said, what's his bedroom like? Well, it was total Ninja Turtles. From bedspread to pajamas to pillowcase to rugs on the floor to shelves with the figures on them to the curtains. I mean, it was, and he even slept in ninja pajamas. I said, okay, that's the problem, because everything in the universe has a vibration. And for good or ill, it's going to affect us. There's too many vibrations coming from the Ninja Turtles. The Ninja Turtles are not peaceful. They are not sleep-inducing. They're action, and they're fighting, and so forth. And I said, reduce the ninja in his bedroom. Well, they did that, and he slept. So there's all sorts of things that we do and teach the kids about, particularly in health. And that's one of the things that's so important. What are the 11 foods that are best for the brain? What are good snacks while you're studying that are good for the brain? What amount of exercise do you need daily, and what kind of exercise do you need daily that will help the brain perform at its optimum? And of course, as we mentioned in the very first video in orientation, the brain gym exercises, which you can access in the Ascent Advantage Academy channel. So we do a lot of things, and that's not everything, because we're not going to spill the beans on everything we do here. But it's important, and we encourage you to enroll your student in Beehive Academy and Prep School if you so desire. It goes from 10 until 12:30 Mountain Time, 5 days a week. And then there are appointment times that we ask the students to sign up for their English or math lessons. And that can be any time from 7 in the morning till 3:20 in the afternoon. There are 16 slots, 20-minute slots, that come before the school time, and then 8 before the school time and 8 after the school time. So if you want a particular time, it's good to sign up early. What's the cost? Well, let's talk about that in the next video. I think this one's long enough.